What's up, guys? So the demo was... It was so good. I don't think they were choosing all the races or the classes. I don't know what they were doing, but I do know that the female Kunari mage was the one that they were doing the most of. I believe it was like 50% of the demos were the female Kunari mage. That was the one that I saw, which I was really excited to see because I was like, I've never seen a female Kunari. Not only that, but a female Kunari mage in action. Oh my god, I was so excited. And it was a 35-minute demo. I know somebody recorded the demo, which, in all honesty, that really bothers me. I mean, it's awesome for you guys, because you guys get to see it. And you guys, it's not your fault. It's not your guys' fault if you watch it because, you know, you're curious to see it. But I think it's such a disrespect on the person that actually recorded it. It's such a disrespect that they did that. I mean, I understand, like I said, I understand that they want to get this stuff out to the fans. There's like this mutual trust there that they're setting on you. I mean, they are showing you something that is supposed to be exclusive and behind closed doors, and that's why we go there, so that we could explain this stuff to you. We go there so that we could share it and not have to show it to you guys, because it's something that the developer still wants to keep behind closed doors, still wants to keep it exclusive. And there's this like trust there. They're trusting us to not record it, because they do say, you know, please, no recording, no flash, no pictures, none of that when the demo starts. So for them to just like be like, yeah, whatever, I'm gonna start recording, is kind of, I feel like it's really disrespectful. But I'm not gonna go into that. You know, they did it, whatever. It was such an experience to see that. I mean, a front row. I literally was like leaning up in front. I was like, let me tell you just a little bit about the demo. So the demo starts in the Hinterlands. It is, oh my god, it's so gorgeous. It's so gorgeous. It's still in alpha. You guys have to remember that. It's still in alpha. And it looked so pretty. In the party were Sarah, the Iron Bull, and Vivienne. We got to see more of the Iron Bull this time around, which was really cool. We could hear his voice. We even got to see his face. I am literally in love with the Iron Bull now. I was like, okay, he looks pretty cool. What is his personality going to be like? And out of the party banter, because you do hear a little bit of party banter when you're walking, the dragon is going to come by and then the dragon fight starts. The Iron Bull and Sarah do get into this little party banter, and the Iron Bull he doesn't sound like your typical stoic, serious Kunari. He sounds like he's pretty funny. The things that he says come off to be pretty funny. Like, I think he was saying something about like throwing Sarah. I don't know where, but throwing her and like saying that she was small enough or something. And she's like, no. She sounds like she's Dalish. She has the accent. I loved finding that out about him. He's a little bit different. And I think it's because he's not part of the Qun. He's like a leader of a mercenary group, so he's obviously going to be different from what we have experienced when it comes to Kunari. The voice of the female Kunari, I don't know which option it was. I think she was talking in an English accent, but I was like, is that Brienne of Tarth? Now I know that the actress that does Brienne of Tarth is going to be doing a voice on Dragon Age Inquisition. I don't know. I felt like it was her. I felt like it was her because it just sounded like her. But then again, I know that the actress that does Samantha Trainer is more than likely. Some people have said that she actually did confirm that she was doing the voice of the female Inquisitor, or at least one of the voices. But I don't know why. The way that the female Kunari sounded, I was like, is that Brienne of Tarth? I could be wrong. I didn't focus too much on her voice. Mike Laidlaw did say that this is the largest cast to date. You could choose between 9 followers. And then, aside from that, there are the other characters that aren't going to be followers, but are going to have somewhat of a major role in the Inquisition. And the cool thing about this is that you are not joining a group like in the previous games, but you are starting the group. You are the actual leader of the Inquisition. You are starting up the Inquisition, and the people that are on the Inquisition are of high standing. A lot of them are, like Vivienne. Vivienne is like a first enchanter of the Orlesian Circle. The Iron Bull is like the leader of a mercenary group. Cassandra is part of the Seekers. You've got Cullen. Whether he's a follower or not, but I don't know if he still is, but I think he's not, part of the Templars. You've got experienced people here. Liliana, she's like the right hand of the Divine. Freaking Morrigan. I believe there was like whispers of Morrigan like teaching, I think the Empress Celine, like dark magic or something like that. That's going to be really interesting. It's going to be dropping you into not only a different game, but a different situation, a different experience. I think it's going to feel different. And I think there's going to be more consequence with your actions in this game because you are the leader of the Inquisition and you do lead the Inquisition forward. What you do is what the Inquisition is going to become. So I think a lot of your choices and all that have more consequence. There's more consequence with your actions in this game, I believe. I feel like that's what's going to happen. You could call your horse. It's not like you have to find it or anything. You could call it, you whistle at it, and the horse comes. A lot of people have been asking me about the companions and their mounts. This was literally one of my major questions a long time ago in the very early stages of Dragon Age Inquisition. I tweeted it. I tweeted on Twitter. I was just like, what's going to happen to your party members? Are they just going to be chasing after you like it was in Skyrim? Or are they just going to disappear into the Inquisitor's pocket like in Mario RPG? Or what? Are they going to get their own mounts, or what's going to happen? Because I was like, if it's going to be like in Skyrim where they're just chasing after you, that's going to be so annoying. And Aaron Flynn did say that would be very impractical, something like that, like to have your followers chasing after you. I do know the answer to this, or at least what it is now, what they are planning for it, or what it is currently. I know the answer to it right now, but they did ask me not to talk about it, so I'm not going to say anything. I don't know if they don't want me to talk about it because it's probably going to change, or they're thinking of doing something else with it. But at the moment, I can't say anything, but I remember Aaron Flynn very, very early on saying that having your party members chase after you is very impractical. You do have 200 different talents and spells. The Kunari Mage looked to be like an elementalist because I was looking at the corner of the screen, like the spells. They had equipped a lightning spell, a fire spell, I believe, and like an ice. No, it was like a lightning spell. It was a rock, like some kind of like rock spell, and I think it was ice, or I could be wrong, but I think it was something like that, where it was different elements. The same with Vivienne. Vivienne seemed to be like an elementalist because she did have different types of spells. They didn't really talk too much about the classes, but we don't know too much as to what they're going to be, but it's very exciting. The classes sound extremely exciting because you do get the sense of cross-mixing classes. For example, if you go to the Dragon Age site, like the main Dragon Age site, dragonage.com, you could see the classes there. They have warrior, mage, and rogue, and they have like some fabulous armor. For the warrior, they have the first specialization is champion, which we all kind of know what the champion was. Champions are defenders and protectors, and when a warrior trains in the champion's tradition, he or she becomes unstoppable. Champions use their armor, weapon, and awareness to shrug off incoming attacks while holding critical positions on the battlefield and protecting allies in the process. So I'm thinking they're more like, I guess, your tank, your typical tank, like sword and shield. In Dragon Age Origins, champions would, and in Dragon Age 2, I believe, would give party members, boosts. Like they would, like, if they were to like do a battle cry or whatever, it would boost the party members' defense or whatever. I don't know if it's going to be the same thing here, or if this is just changing into like a paladin type of class where they're tanks, like your sword and shield, or what. But there's another, out of the other two, there's a little symbol that looks like a Templar, so I'm guessing you're going to be able to be a Templar. And the other one, I don't know what that is, but I'm thinking it's Reaver. The mage classes sound extremely, or the mage specialization, I really like the sound of the Knight Enchanter. Among the circle of magi, only a few mages have the strength of will necessary to focus their energy inward, wrapped in protective magics and wielding blades of arcane force. The Knight Enchanters are rare but inspiring sights as they lead the charge into enemy ranks. That is probably going to be my specialization. Knight Enchanter. This sounds a lot like the Arcane Warrior, but just Knight Enchanter sounds freaking awesome. The other ones, I don't know, but like a Shade, maybe? Or not a Shade, but like, what were they called? The specialization in Dragon Age Awakening, I think. They were roguish. I think the other one's gonna be like a full-on elementalist. And then the rogue, artificer. Intricate mechanisms are the core of the artificer's craft. Deadly traps, distracting contraptions, marvels of engineering turned to deadly purpose. If an artificer is standing at the far end of a seemingly innocuous stretch of the battlefield, you should find another path. If he or she is smiling, best just to hope your affairs are in order. I think the artificer is going to be like a ranged damage dealer. So not only ranged, but also, putting down traps. Not like, I don't think the artificer rogue is going to be in your face, daggers and all that. I think they're going to be more like, maybe like archers and like, and putting down traps and stuff like that. So I think that's what the artificer is. And then you've got, looks like a mask and a sword. Maybe that is a duelist. And then the other one is most likely the assassin. So yeah, I think the in the demo it was more of like a full-on enchanter or a full-on elementalist. The mage has never really interested me that much. I've never been a big fan of the mage. I've always been a warrior. Like in Dragon Age Origins, I was a warrior. I was a two-handed damage dealer, and in Dragon Age 2, I was a warrior. I was a sword and shield warrior. So they've always been my favorite warriors. I love their armor. I love the sword and shield. I just love the presence that the warriors have and the role that they have in the party. This time around, it sounds like the mages are gonna have such appeal. I mean, not only because of the story and the whole thing with the mages and the whole thing with the Fade. I want to know how that applies to the mages. The spells are so cool. The sounds, I still remember the sounds of the spells. There was this one spell that Vivienne made, and I think it was called Focus or something like that. I think that's what Mike Laidlaw said. It was a spell that Vivienne was charging up for a while. She's like going like this or whatever, and they transferred to Vivienne, so they were now Vivienne. And they were doing the spell, right? And I was like, oh my god, what's going on here? And they were fighting the dragon, and she finally makes the spell, and it's just like, the animation for the spell was so cool. It went poof, and everything just like it started to go in slow motion, and the animation was it was so good. Like I was like, oh my god. And then they switched over to Sarah, and she's with the bow and arrow, right? And she's shooting at the dragon's legs, but it's all going in slow motion, and it's all like the sounds were so cool. And I was like, that is an awesome spell. It makes things easier to target, especially for archers. The dragons sound amazing. In that theater, it was like, oh my god, it was music to my ears. That dragon, it was already coming down, and it was already like flying past you, and the wings, like when the wings would fly past you, it was like you would literally like fall over. It was already starting to burn things, and you're just like, and you're not, you haven't even gotten to the lair or wherever the dragon was actually going to land. You haven't even gotten there, and you were already hearing it, and you're just like running. You're like, oh my god. I was like, dude, this is going to be so exciting. Drakes do come back, but they're not all cheesy like they were in the previous games, like these little tiny little lizards that are like all attacking you. They're actually like, they're bigger. There aren't as many, but they're still, I think they're going to be harder to take down because they are a little bit bigger. They look way better than they did in previous games. And those are the males. So the males are the little guys, and the female is the high dragon. It was cool that they showed off all the different points of views, because it made you feel like you needed to work as a team and not just like have the Inquisitor just like hack and slash at the freaking leg or whatever. You could. I mean, this game could be a hack and slash if you don't want to do the tactics and all that, because you could just slam the whatever button as the Inquisitor and never change, or never set tactics and all that. But it's meant, like, this game is meant for you to find the easiest way to take something out. By using strategy, by moving out, by changing characters, by going to Sarah and like targeting one of the legs, or by changing to the Iron Bull and doing that whirlwind thing that I absolutely love. He does this whirlwind thing with his huge axe. Oh man, it's so cool when he does that, when he takes out like 5 dudes. He looks so awesome. He's like, woof, woof, woof. This big, I was like, man, if I saw that coming to me, if I saw this ginormous Kunari with this huge axe coming towards me like that, I would probably die before he got to me. I have a heart attack, or I would just take off running like a little girl, screaming my head off. Dude, this is gonna be like one of my go-to guys. After the Hinterlands, after you fight the dragon, they do take us to a different area, a different part of the story, which was in Redcliffe. You were already in a different team, and I'm really surprised that they showed off this segment, because a lot of it was like, whoa, like it was pretty revealing, because they showed that from the trailer that they showed off at the EA press conference with Liliana, or at the Microsoft one too, where it showed Liliana hanging in this area, and some what are they called? The Venatari, or I forgot what they're called. The bad guys, the Tevinter bad guys, those slave dudes with the masks. That putting like a knife to her, a dagger to her throat. They actually showed that scene, and I was like, whoa, like I didn't think they were gonna show it. Liliana was just like, she's not that like really young and like, aw, Liliana, you know, like that kind of naive, kind of like sweet, and like that she was in Dragon Age Origins. Now she's so different, and she reminds me of a lot of like the transition that Liara had in Mass Effect, where she just becomes this like this tough-skinned fighter that is willing to do whatever it takes to get what has to be done. She's pretty cold. Like some of the stuff that she does. Part of the story, we meet this Alexius guy, this Tevinter mage, and his son, who is like, I don't know, he looks like a zombie, kind of. I don't know what's going on with him. Alexius speaks of the Elder One and how the Elder One is coming, and I was like, whoa, who is the Elder One? I think the Elder One is probably like some Tevinter Magister or something. Kind of like Corypheus, maybe. Because of what's going on with the Fade, I'm thinking that maybe some Tevinter Magister is coming. And then we see Felix, who is Alexia's son, and Liliana just like slices his throat, like not even, she's like, wow, you know, we gotta save this world, so Alexius goes crazy, and Dorian is in the party here. We hear Dorian's voice, we see close-ups of Dorian, and he just looks so cool. I love Dorian already. Every character I am loving so much. Everything I saw was just like, oh my god, these characters look so cool. Like I really want to know more about them. Dorian did know Alexius. It seems that they had been close one time. I don't know if they had been friends or what, but he knew him, and he was like, he's changed or whatever. It almost felt like a companion quest for Dorian, because it was like the Inquisitor said something like, what do you want to do, or something like that, and Dorian was like, I could open the Fade portal or whatever with the necklace. It seemed like a companion quest to me, but I could be wrong. It could be part of a big quest in general. But yeah, it was really cool. It is that scene in the trailer where Dorian is like opening this portal, and that the necklace is like floating there, and the Inquisitor's like waiting, and Liliana is like off by the door, and she's gonna fight them off because they're coming, and Sarah and the Iron Bull go out there to hold them off, and everybody was like, oh my god, they killed Sarah. They didn't kill Sarah. They weren't gonna show a party member get killed in the demo. She gets knocked out, and we don't even see the Iron Bull, but don't worry, they didn't kill Sarah. And then it just ends with Liliana, where you're just like, oh my god, what's gonna happen? Like, Liliana's gonna get attacked, and you're just like, and she's saying something like, Maker, help me, or whatever. And you're just like, dude, oh my god, it just leaves you on a cliffhanger. And for this to be a demo, it was like, dude, they left us on a cliffhanger in a demo. That was really cool. I loved how they left us off in a demo, because it really left me super excited. It left me wanting to know more, and it also gave me a taste of what to expect, of the level of emotion that this game is probably going to go into, of the locations that we're going to go to, of that emotion that you're going to be feeling with these characters, like Liliana, where you're just like, oh my god, what's going to happen? I'm so glad they showed that, because it like, again, they're just giving you a taste of a little taste of what it's going to be, of that emotional level that the game is going to have. The combat looks tough. It looks like, especially when you're fighting shades and demons and stuff like that to close the Fade Rifts, you have to take out all these demons that are coming. I think they're coming out of the rift, the actual Fade Rift, the hole, like that tear that you have to close with your power. I remember from the previous games that when like revenants would come out, and they would just be freaking summoning shades, it was like, oh my god, those damn revenants were so hard. I'm so down. Like, I love a challenge, and those challenges make the game, just elongate the game more. It makes the game last longer, and that's usually what I want with games that I'm really anticipating, is I want them to last long. Like, I don't want them to end. So I loved the demo. There were some little things, like little details that I could tell, like with the characters, like with the clothes or whatever, or the way that their mouth would move. I mean, this is already advanced. It already looks more advanced than the previous games. And this is just alpha. I did notice a few things, but I was like, this is a freaking alpha. Like, this is an alpha. It's a work in progress. It's not done yet. So they're only going to polish it even more, obviously, before they ship it. What I noticed was just really tiny things, nothing huge. It still has the familiarity of the previous games, like where you're like, this is a Dragon Age game. I did feel that familiarity, which for me is a good thing, because I wouldn't want to feel like, whoa, like completely different, like almost like you're playing Mass Effect or something. I do want it to still feel like Dragon Age, and it did feel like Dragon Age, but so much more advanced. Like, this is exactly what Dragon Age was meant to be, and that's what Bioware has said, that this is what they've always wanted it to become. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll talk to you guys later.